Comment, like, subscribe. The bell keeps you notified. It helps the show thrive. Names are so deeply personal to us. In many cases, they are the key thing that defines us to people in our lives. Your name is you. But more often than not, your name is more than just you. Your name could be theirs, or his, or hers too. Names are weird. Despite the fact we associate specific names with one specific person, in many cases, names are not entirely exclusive to one single person. Not everyone on the planet has a given and/or family name that is exclusive to them and them alone. Of course, family names are shared across families, but even so, people you probably aren't related to have the same family name as yourself. And then, with there being only so many words out there that are considered viable given names, it means that the chances of someone having the same given name as you is pretty high too, especially if you have a more popular given name. There's always a bit of a strange feeling when you meet someone who has the same first name as you. Or maybe that's just me. My name of Patrick, for example, isn't one of the more popular names in the part of the world I live in. During my life, I've only ever met a handful of other Patricks, and most of the time they were just in passing. I don't remember there being any other Patricks at school with me or at work with me. This meant that when I met another Patrick, it was always something of a noticeable occasion. But maybe that's just me being weird. One time when I went to Ireland, I was hearing the name left, right and centre, and it was strange to hear my name being called out so regularly. While I have met other Patricks, I'm yet to meet in person another person who shares both my given and family name of Patrick Foot. But I know they are out there. Thanks to the day and age we live in, finding out if someone has the same name as you is just a search away. Who hasn't put their own name into Google or Facebook to see who comes up? The thing I find most strange about Googling my own name is that when I do, another Patrick Foot who also has brown hair, a beard and thick rimmed glasses pops up too. Like, this guy looks noticeably like myself. What's going on here? Are they me from another dimension? Am I them from another dimension? Other Patrick Foot, please reach out if you're watching this. While I might be a tad confused by the whole idea of someone having the same name as myself, I seem to be something of an odd one out in all this. Many people seem to embrace the idea of having the same name as others. Not only do people wish to celebrate this fact, but some even want to take things one step further. This is in the form of something I'm dubbing same name gatherings. This isn't an official term or anything, but it gets the idea across. They are exactly what they sound like, a gathering of people who all have the same name, usually in celebration of the name. This might sound a tad strange at first, but here's the thing. These kinds of gatherings have been gaining momentum in recent years and are becoming more and more popular. The whole reason I'm making this video right now is because the world record of the largest gathering of people with the same given and family name was just recently broken. Is all this very silly? Yeah, but is it about names? Yeah, it is. And if there's something silly revolving around names, then you can sure bet that I'm going to look into it. So I want to highlight some of these events for you all as we dive into the strange world of same name gatherings. A same name gathering event that caught my attention recently took place in a pub near the town of Evesham in Worcestershire here in the UK. On the 24th of September 2022, the Fleece Inn held their second ever Nigel night, with the first one being held in 2019. This was a night aimed at celebrating the name Nigel, set up by the landlord of the pub, who is unsurprisingly called Nigel. Nigel Smith, to give him his full name. Smith has explained the reason he wanted to hold regular Nigel nights at his pub by saying that the name Nigel was particularly popular in the 50s and 60s. I was born in 1963, and that was pretty much the peak Nigel year, where there were 5,000 of us born. Sadly, of late there have been very few, not enough Nigels to be recorded by the Office of National Statistics. We're on a mission to make sure the name Nigel is revived and reused by future generations. The 2022 Nigel night sounded like a very enjoyable affair. Their website has an itinerary of things that happened on the night, including a DJ set from one Nigel Clark, a busker named Nigel Ambush, and a whole Nigel quiz. While non-Nigels were allowed to attend, anyone named Nigel with proof received a Nigel Nigel badge and a free pint. So how successful was this Nigel night? Well, in 2022 it attracted 372 Nigels from all across the globe. While that large quantity of Nigels is impressive, it isn't actually as many Nigels as who turned up on the inaugural Nigel night in 2019, which attracted 434 Nigels. This 2019 Nigel night actually holds the world record of the largest gathering of Nigels. Trust me, this isn't the only time we will be discussing world records being broken in the name of, well, names. Fingers crossed that 2023 gives us yet another Nigel night at the Fleece Inn. I might even be tempted to go along myself as a non-Nigel. If Nigel night has helped bring the name into vogue remains to be seen, though I can confirm that in 2021, 8 baby Nigels were born in the UK, making it the joint 2,493rd most popular boy's name in that year. Similar to Nigel night, there's also the gathering of Elizabeths. The first of these seems to have taken place in 2008 and involved around 400 women named Elizabeth. What's so novel about this one, however, is where it took place, as it happened in the village of Elizabeth in the state of Illinois in the United States. Whether this gathering is still happening or not, I can't quite figure out. The latest news I found about it was a Facebook event for the 2018 gathering. Apparently 20 people went and 72 were interested. The event description says, if your first name, middle name, or even last name is Elizabeth, come and be a part of the Gathering of Elizabeths on August 11th, 2018 in Elizabeth, Illinois. Help us celebrate the 150th anniversary of the village and honor the women that our town was named after. And likewise, on the village's website, there doesn't seem to be any mention of the gathering happening again anytime soon. While these events gather an awful lot of Nigels and Elizabeths together, neither of these hold a record of the largest gathering of people all with the same first name. So what name does that honor go to? Well, for some time it went to the name Muhammad. On the 10th of February 2005, 1,096 people with the name Muhammad gathered at the Dubai Shopping Festival at Creek Park in the United Arab Emirates. This record was held all the way until 2017. It was in that year, on the 30th of July, in which 2,325 Ivans all gathered together. This happened in the town of Kuples in the nation of Bosnia and Herzegovina. The event was called the 1000 Ivans, but well over 3,000 Ivans actually registered their interest. The day started with a mass, which was then followed by a gathering itself and celebrations and live music in the evening. The whole thing was a live streamed, it seemed, with 6 hours of it still on YouTube. So if you have a spare 6 hours, that's the place to be. It's this gathering of Ivans that the Guinness World Records recognizes the largest gathering of people with the same given name. However, there are also reports of a different Muhammad gathering that took place in Libya, which included an estimated 20,000 people with the name gathering in 2008. That's a huge amount of Muhammads and not only beats the previous Muhammad record, but also the Ivan record. There doesn't seem to be too much info out there on this one, however, and Guinness World Records themselves don't recognize it. If anyone is able to shine more of a light on this one, that would be hugely appreciated. Large groups of people all having the same given name is impressive, but what about people who all have the same given and family name? Well, this record was for some time held by a name that might sound familiar. In September 2005, gosh, 05 again, this is a heck of a year for name gatherings, 164 women gathered together, all named Martha Stewart. This was no coincidence, and the most famous Martha Stewart was one of these Martha Stewarts. This gathering actually occurred on the set of her television show, Martha, and included Martha Stewart's age from 11 to age 90. The famous Martha Stewart talked about it, saying that, "Today was particularly special for me. I was delighted to spend time with these interesting women and share their personal stories. The fact that we all shared the same name made that day more entertaining, and I'm glad I had the chance to acknowledge the great things these ladies are doing in their communities and in their lives. We had a great deal of fun, and we're thrilled that the gathering put us in the Guinness Book of World Records." This record was held all the way until the 29th of October 2022, which at the time of release of this video was merely days ago. This is some hot, fresh name news I'm sending all your way. It was on this day that 178 Hirokazu Tanakas gathered together in Tokyo. While this name might not be as well known in the English-speaking world as Martha Stewart, there are still some famous people with this name. Perhaps most noticeably, the Hirokazu Tanaka, who was one of Nintendo's in-house music producers during the 8-bit video game era. This gathering included Hirokazu Tanaka's age from 3 to 80, and someone even flying in from Vietnam. This attempt was a long time in the making. The founder of this campaign, obviously called Hirokazu Tanaka, started his quest to find others with the same name as him all the way back in 1994. After 2 failed attempts to gather those with the same name, it was his third 2022 attempt, which proved to be the most fruitful and finally get his name, and 177 others of course, in the Guinness World Record books. He said about his endeavors that he never expected we would achieve such a ridiculous record. Another one of the Hirokazu Tanakas spoke about the previous record holder, the 164 Martha Stewarts, and said about them that it's not like I had a huge rivalry towards the Martha Stewarts. Rather, Martha Stewarts pioneered this record, so I'd consider them our kindred spirits, even though we've never met. Which is very respectable. Who knows how long this record will last for, however. With the extensive media coverage it is getting, it might be topped fairly quickly. But for now, enjoy your record, Hirokazu Tanakas. It was in the making since 1994. That was literally the year I was born. He has been trying to attempt this record since I've existed. Good on you, mate. Finally, we have to talk about one of the most bizarre and unique cases of a group of people gathering together who all have the same name. This being the now legendary Josh fight. On the 24th of April 2020, one Josh Swain sent a message on Facebook to a group of other people all with the name Josh Swain. He first wrote, "You're probably wondering why I've gathered you all here today," in which another Josh Swain responded saying, "Because we all share the same names?" With the initiator Josh saying, "Precisely. April 24th, 2021, 12 PM, meet at these coordinates. We fight. Whoever wins gets to keep the name. Everyone else has to change their name. You have a year to prepare. Good luck," and then shared these messages on Twitter. This blew up instantly, gathering over 60,000 likes on the platform. This fight did indeed take place. However, it wasn't as barbaric as many would have thought it was going to be. Hundreds of Joshes arrived in the park the coordinates led to and fought with pool noodles. It was all in good spirits, and as far as I could gather, everyone got to keep their name. Though there was a winner in all of this, that being 4-year-old Josh Vincent Jr., who received a crown and a trophy. There was an awful lot of goodwill too, as it turned into a charity fundraiser, which raised over $8,000 for a local children's hospital. The Josh who started this fight said he started the chat in a moment of lockdown boredom, and is bewildered at how popular it was. A second Josh fight was even held in 2022 as well, once again raising money for charity. The event has gone down in internet history and has been described as a meme come to life. It's perhaps one of the most well-known cases of a same name gathering that we have ever had. If you couldn't gather from these, same name gatherings are strange, silly, but also very fun, and they bring people together from all walks of life who, while might be very different, have one thing in common. That very personal thing we all call a name. Now, if I was a more proactive YouTuber who enjoyed doing weird sensational public stunts to feed my ego, this would be the part of the video I announce some sort of Patrick gathering I'm putting on to try and break a world record. However, that sounds like way too much effort and I don't like leaving the house. If anyone plans on setting one up, or hears about any other same name gatherings full stop, drop me a DM. Name Explained depends on viewers like yourself supporting the channel financially on Patreon, so a huge thank you to everyone who does. Donating just $1 a month helps the channel amazingly and gets you bonuses including ad-free videos, exclusive content, and the power to request ideas to be made into actual Name Explained videos. $2 a month gets you all that, plus your name here with all these awesome people. Visit patreon.com/nameexplain or click the link down below to find out how you too can support the channel. Thank you. Thanks for reaching the end of the video. Why not watch another and subscribe to keep up to date on all things Name Explain. You can find myself on Instagram where I'm NameExplainYT, and join the Facebook group Friends of Name Explain to talk with myself and other name nerds. All that will be linked down below. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and once again, thank you all so much.